Howdy folks, it's the Tall Turtle here with another LEGO build update. Sorry there hasn't been any other regular content lately, but it's been a very busy time of year. The holidays are finishing up, and there were some major changes at my day job, which meant some longer hours creeping into my personal time. But hopefully we'll be back to regular content soon. But today, I wanted to give an update on this LEGO TECHNIC build because I'm at a point now where we're getting some of the shell on, and there's some fun things to talk about. So I want to talk about this kit a little bit, an update. We'll do a little bit of building together, and then we may not have another update until it's done. I don't know, but my LEGO videos are getting some attention and people are enjoying them, so we're going to keep having some updates. So I have a microphone on one side off camera, and then I have my camera on the other side, which I'm going to move around, and I hope I don't cause issues, because right now the camera's really far away. So I'm going to reset my camera, and we're going to talk about this build, and then we're going to try to do some building together. So here we are in handheld mode. I'm going to give a little update on this thing. So first of all, the very first thing I want to talk about is how huge this is. I watch a lot of videos about this car, and obviously you're watching my video, and you cannot get a sense of how enormous this thing is unless you see it for yourself in person. So for example, I've mentioned before, I have Rachmaninoff size hands, and I can only cover about a third of the car. That's how big this thing is. And we still have a bumper on the front and a bumper on the back still. So just to give you an idea of scale, here is like a 24-ounce water bottle. So like a little bigger than a 1 liter bottle. And I mean, this thing is so big, I don't even know how to, I guess I could take a tape measure out, but that's not even going to do any good. I just cannot, you have to see this in person to see how enormous this car is. It is so big, and this is the smallest of the three that came out at the same time. I think this is Christmas of 2018 series. I found out today, in fact, that LEGO has their summer TECHNIC sets and then their Christmas TECHNIC sets each year. And apparently the summer ones are even more challenging than the winter ones, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, this thing is so big. I mean, it is absolutely enormous. And we actually have a large Russian blue cat that's going to come by in a minute. And he's big too, so that's not going to help us scale either. But anyway, what else is there to talk about? There's so much to talk about. First of all, it's starting to look like a car now. That's why I wanted to stop in the process and talk about it before I got too far. But starting at the back, I guess. Let's start at the back. The full suspension on each wheel. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. It's very difficult. Like I said, I'm normally not a build with me or do things with me type channel, so I don't have a setup for this type of thing. But anyway, the suspension on all 4 wheels works, of course, which you already knew that, I'm sure. Something else is this thing is still solid as a rock. I have no issues picking this up. I mean, with one hand, I don't want to pick it up, but with 2 hands, I have no concerns. I'm not nervous about parts falling off. I'm not nervous about breaking something. Look at this, one hand, no problem. There's the Russian blue right there, and the messy kitchen. Don't look. I mean, I have no issues. I'm not afraid that something is going to fall off and break or, come dislodged or something. It is so solid still. Even the fenders, it's solid as a rock. Everything is solid as a rock. And I mentioned previously that I really appreciate that, because it never used to be that way. It used to be that a gear would fall off inside your build back in the 80s and 90s, and you'd have to take it all apart to fix it. But that is not the case. So what else is going on besides suspension and how solid this thing is? Well, the engine moves with the wheels. So if you remember, there's a differential in this, right? So if I move this wheel like this, the other one won't move, right? Because there's a differential in there. Or it moves backwards, sorry. But if I hold the other wheel, which I can't do because I'm holding the camera, if I hold the other wheel or move them both forward, then the engine moves. How am I going to do that? I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to demonstrate that separately, because I'll have to put the camera back on the tripod. But if I were able, so you can see it going backwards to the differential, if I was able to stop that wheel somehow, Can I get creative here and stop that wheel? Let's see if I put it on the book. Will that work? Will that be enough downforce to stop the wheel from moving? There we go. So I got that wheel stopped. So there you can see the engine. Oh, the wheel's moving again. Stop moving, wheel. I'm trying to do a demonstration here. There we go. Then the engine will move, of course. But not only does the engine move, but the pistons move as well. See that? It's a boxer engine, so the pistons go out to the side. See that? Of course, on both sides it does. Can't see that side, but you get the idea. Now, when it's all together, you'll be able to see the engine through the back engine cover, you know, moving. But you're not going to be able to see the pistons on the sides moving, but that's okay. Moving along here as I move things around. What else? Oh, my door's knocked out of place. So anyway, so the door opens, of course, and it'll be that way with both sides. On this door, there is a map of a track. It's not the Nürburgring, I don't think. I don't know what track that is, but it's something. But the doors open and close. Now, the doors are definitely the flimsiest part, because when you shut them, there's a little bit of play in here, right? But what I learned is if I lift it up like this, and then let it come back down gently, then it's solid because the torque, this is torquing in here. I mean, it's solid and there's pinned in two places, but then when you open it, it won't torque back enough to stay tight. So you just have to go beyond it, and then it'll stay nice and tight. What else? Decals. This thing is so decal heavy. I know that's one of the complaints about this car. Is there are, did I count 50 or 60 something decals? I already put on about 15. All those gray things back there are decals. This actually was already printed, but everything else is a decal I had to put on. The headrests, the decals there, decal on the steering wheel, decals all over on this side here. I mean, I've already put on over a dozen decals, and I hate doing decals with Lego. Going back to when I was a tiny tot, I've never liked decals on Lego, but in this case, we're going to go for it because it's part of the whole thing. But generally, I'm not a fan of decal at all on Lego. To me, it's like, I don't know, it kind of breaks the immersion a little bit. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on why, but let's open this. I'm trying to look through my camera. This isn't working. Let's open this door. There we go. And then the steering works as well. First of all, you got your nice racing seat with your head support there. But the wheel works, of course, and it turns the tires. You have half a turn, so 90 degrees to the left, and then straight, and then 90 degrees to the right. And of course, it goes through these knuckles here, which turns that gear, which is offset, which then turns that gear, and transfers to the bottom gear, which is what turns the wheels. Again, I'm trying to do this through my camera. Let's see. So there we go. So you get full turn on the wheels, and you have 180 degrees on the steering wheel. And again, it's so solid. Like, I'm not worried about cranking on this wheel and skipping a tooth and then being all screwed up and not being able to get in there to fix it once it's all together. I mean, I'm pushing really hard and it's not going to skip teeth. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that. But back in the olden days, that kind of thing would happen. I can't see where the center is of the camera. Where are you? There you are. I think that's right. No, it isn't. There we go. There, now we're centered. So it used to be a concern where if you skipped a tooth, you're in big trouble. But not on this. Nice and solid. Now I get to shut the door. Again, there's some play there, but if you come up and then come back, then it's nice and tight. And it bumped the steering wheel. There we go. Anything, what else in this before we build a little bit today? No, just a lot of framework. All the headlights going to go in here, obviously. Still have bumpers to put on. And then we have this passenger side to do. So we'll do some of this together because there's some interesting techniques in this that I want to share. One of the challenges, and we have run into some challenging things, is getting everything to line up. For example, there'll be a piece that goes on here that has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 points of contact. And it all has to go on evenly. And sometimes you can't really see at first where it's connecting when you have big pieces connect to a whole bunch of clips at once. So that's been a challenge. It's been a fun challenge. But that's one of the bigger challenges. Otherwise, I think we're going to build together a little bit here. Let me reset my camera and try to figure out how this is going to work. And we will start building together and get some shell on. Just a little, not too much. Don't want to waste too much of your time. But I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are. I know my camera setup is terrible for this because I'm not a I'm not like a build with me channel like I already said. So I'm not really set up for this, but we're going to do the best we can. I know there's a big glare right here, I think, on the camera, which is 3 feet one way, my microphone somewhere else. This is hilarious if you were to see how I'm doing this, but we're going to try to do it. So step 293 out of 504. I wanted to show you this step because there's something going on here that I've only run into once doing this, and there's a scale representation of the pieces you're putting together because they have to be in the right exact spot, and there isn't any other way. So there's a guide here that you can't see under my fingers. I'll just give you a close up in a second. So it's a 1-to-1 guide. As you can see there, sorry, I'm farther from my microphone. And what you have to do is you have to lay your model on top of it so you can line up that second white piece. There we go. I hope you can still hear me. But anyway, so you can line it up. So you slide the white thing over to line up exactly over the model, or the model over the picture. And then that's how you get your spacing right for this piece. And I know other TECHNIC kits have a lot of this where you have to do more of it. But as far as this goes, this is the only time I've run into this. And then that way, you know that it will work. Oops, once you place where you're supposed to place it. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, when I built a little bit together, I work a lot more smoothly when I don't have a camera and tripods all over myself. But anyway, so now when we put this piece in, which hopefully you can see, hopefully you're viewing on something that has a big enough screen, you can see what I'm doing because I know my camera's kind of far away. Now it'll all fit in here. So this is actually a tricky one too. This one I think goes in here like this, like deep inside the car. Which I don't know if you can even see that. Let me show you here. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I can't even see it. It's deep inside there. So that was a tricky one. The reason why I know so easily is because it was the same thing on the other side. This is just a repeat. But if you didn't have that white piece in the right spot per the model drawn out, then you wouldn't be able to put it together and you'd be wondering where does this fit in, that type of thing. So that's kind of one thing I wanted to show you. That's kind of a tricky thing. I'm already did the next couple steps before I recorded just to prepare. We're going to put on this fender now. Again, no big deal, but it's fun to do together. So let's see if I'm even in the frame here. Yeah, I am, but it's really far away. So there you go, make sure it all clips in. Now, it feels weak right now, but if you look here, it's going to all come together nicely. I'm trying to refocus on it. But if you look, if you want to know these weird pieces, there's a little number. All the TECHNIC pieces are numbered. If you ever notice, in this case, it's the blue number with a circle, which I don't even know if you can see. But it's there, I promise. It's a blue number and a circle. And that number is the piece number, and that's molded inside, which there's no way you're going to be able to see it. But anyway, this has a 2, a blue 2, and then inside there's a blue 2. Just like these things, there's pieces similar to this. 18 inside, that's how you know if you have the right one. I don't know if anybody's ever talked about that. There's all these little things that no one talks about in their Lego videos. And then we're going to try to stick this on. I hate decals with a passion. Let's see if I can get this on with the glare. I have to bring it closer to my face, which means I can see it on camera. But I promise I'm putting the decal on. It's really hard to see because of the lighting. You can always take them off and reposition them. But you can tell that it's been touched and repositioned. Right? It'll never be exactly the same. So I got that. Get on there nice and good. And it's perfectly on there straight. Don't know if you can see it. There we go. All right. So it's on there. As much as, I mean, I admit I'm good at putting on decals because of all the kids' toys I've put together. I just hate it. I don't hate it because I'm bad at it, because I'm not. I'm pretty decent. I mean, yeah, that looks like a machine put that on. That's awesome. Okay. So anyway, back to being on camera here so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to take this thing that we built and we're going to stick this thing on down, oh boy, down there. And then we're going to take this and carefully stick it through the right side like that. And then this connects here, again 3 points of contact. Whoops, and I screwed up. It's over one. There you go. Read your instructions carefully. There we go. Now this has to get put on the car and it gets put on behind the fender down below. But this has some other points of contact. So this has two there and one over here. So we have to, I hope you can really see this. You can't really see this, but there's 3 places I have to connect this. And it's not easy. There's one down here and then 2 way over here. And because things flex and move and everything, and depending on the surface you're working on, it's not that easy because they all have to go in at exactly the same time. If one gets ahead even a millimeter, there we go. It's really hard to do. And to make sure nothing else popped out while I was doing that, so that's still solid. I mean, everything is solid, right? I really enjoy doing this. Like I've said in the previous Lego video, I used to do model cars, right? Like the AMT tester, all the Revell, all that stuff. And I think I actually like this more. It's not as messy. So there's a rear bumper mud flap thing that gets put in on step 302. And should we do any more together? I really wanted to do the door with you today, but this isn't going. So when I did this side, it started here, and like the next step was the door. And then we went back, but on this side it looks like we're going this way and going forward. So the door isn't for another 20 steps or so because it's opposite. So we kind of went like this, and now we're coming around here. But let's do a little bit more together, just a little bit. I know the video is actually becoming like a regular length video. Yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go before we do a door. There we go, we got those on there. Then we're just gonna pop this in here. Nice and solid, like that. And now, see, now we could pick up the whole car by that fender if we wanted to. Like everything is just rock solid on this thing. So that's it for that step. So then if I were to continue, I would get all these pieces together at once, just go through my bins, and I have all my bins memorized and organized. It's very quick. And then just move along, and then in, I don't know, 20 minutes from now, I'd have a door. So we're not gonna get that far today, but I just wanted to show you a little bit. I want to do an update on the car since we can still see the inside. That was kind of my main thing for driving this video and stopping where I stopped, was so that we could see what's inside before it gets covered. Then I wanted to show you the shell starting and how it's coming together piece by piece. And I wanted to talk about how solid it was, and I wanted to talk about how absolutely enormous this car is. I like when that door's solid. This thing is so big. Oh, here comes the Maine Coon. Keep going, come on buddy, go on camera. You've never been on camera on this channel before. There he is. Even though he's a Maine Coon, he's a tiny, whoop, he's gonna rub the camera. He's a tiny Maine Coon. He was the runt. So he's about a third, no, he's about a quarter. I'm trying to think of his length. He's about the quarter size of a Maine Coon. He is purebred, we have the papers, but he's just tiny. I mean, he's big for normal cats, but he's tiny compared to a Maine Coon. But there he is. He's gonna get in the way. But you can see how this car is almost as big as he is. He's a big cat. So this thing's enormous. So thank you for watching, those of you who have watched. My Lego videos are, people like them, so I'm going to keep making them. I'm going to build a lot more. I might even just finish this off camera now, and we'll do like the last 2 steps together or something. But we'll see. We'll see how I feel. I had my purposes as stated for making this video when I did. A lot more building. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention. People are saying this is a 4-hour build. But for me, I've put in... I was kind of trying to... Oh, don't touch the microphone, kitty. No. How many hours have I put in? I think I've put in over 4, and I'm only halfway done. But I'm not in a hurry. I don't care how long it takes. But anyway, that's it for now. I will see you with another Lego video soon. Hopefully some regular content sooner. And I'll catch you next time.